my kids are getting older. And as they get older, I notice that they are figuring out what they're called to do in God. And they have one or two ways to go. They either submit to it or they get scared and run from it. And I know more than anybody that when God calls you to something that is bigger than yourself, like he always does, because he wants the glory, fear tends to creep in. And that thought that I'm not good enough, I can't do this, rolls over and over in your mind. And I've watched some of my children begin to struggle, and I have watched some of them accept their calling, and I've just watched this play over and over and over, and I know what they're dealing with, because it's so natural for us to see everything wrong with us and why we can't. Even Moses told God when he called him to deliver Israel, he knew that he was to be their deliverer. He knew what he was called to do years earlier. But when God laid it out before him and said, you have to return to Egypt and lead the Israelites to the promised land, Moses was like, are you kidding me? I can't even speak. I stutter. They're not going to believe me. And he had all these lists of excuses of why he couldn't. And it kind of frustrated God a little bit, because when God calls us to something, he's going to give us whatever it is we need to perform it. And so I have been focusing on this verse. I have this verse hanging up in my bedroom, and I have been sharing it with my children so they can remember. And maybe somebody out there needs to remember too. In St. John 15:16, this is Jesus speaking. He says, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that you should go forth and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. That is a powerful verse when we think about it, because that's one thing that I keep in my mind whenever a door opens, an opportunity approaches, or I feel like God is calling me to something deeper or something bigger. I'm like, I don't think I can do this. But I'd remind myself, I didn't choose this. I didn't choose this calling. I didn't choose this life. I didn't choose to be this person that he chose me to be. It was God who chose me. And if Jesus chose me to do this and he ordained me, then I can do it, because he tells me it's a promise that I'll go forth and I'll bring fruit. I'll be fruitful, and that fruit's going to remain. It's not going to just be here today and gone tomorrow. It's going to remain. It's going to make lifelong impacts. It's going to be eternal. And that whatever I ask, he's going to give it to me in his name. So I have to be very careful to not feed that spirit of fear when it comes upon me, because we're not doing this in ourselves. We're doing this through him. So if you feel like God is asking you to do something, maybe it's give more money in an offering, maybe it's spend more time in prayer, or wake up earlier, or maybe he's calling you to something even bigger than that. Maybe he's calling you to a pulpit ministry or to be a missionary. Whatever it is he's asking you to do, you can stop listening to the lies in your head that says you're not enough, you can't do this, and letting fear grip your life. Start quoting that verse and remind yourself. Slap that fear back with the thought that I didn't choose this, God chose this, and he chose me to do this, and God doesn't make mistakes. So if he chose me to do this, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to be successful in him and through him. He's going to get the glory, and I'm going to be fruitful, and that fruit is going to remain.